Am I the asshole for serving my family food from the trash? For context, my sister and I grew up relatively poor. When I was 6, our mom took a promotion and moved 3 hours away. We found out in our adult life she had been hoarding her money and giving our alcoholic father a small allowance to raise us. With his addiction problems, it left us minimal money for essentials. By the time I was 16, we were technically on our own, and I was ransacking dumpsters to feed myself and my sister. Oh my gosh.
That's horrible.
Yeah. I'm now in my late 30s, have a successful career, and live quite comfortably. My sister is also well off now. My wife and I have a great relationship. I've worked to stop some of my old habits from my upbringing. Some of my penny pinching techniques, my wife graciously ignores and lets me save our money where I can. However, there's one issue we always can't find a compromise. I can't handle when food is thrown out. Our daughter, 12, wanted chickens last year. That ended up being a good idea since our table scraps could go to them instead of being wasted to the trash. For the record, I hate when my wife shops at Costco. She buys too much for her family and creates a lot of waste. I've asked her to at least donate what we don't eat or give it to me so I can drop it off at a homeless camp nearby. She promised to buy less quantity, but that didn't last because she doesn't like grocery shopping more than once a week. Last week I came home and found a sealed pack of lettuce, 1 whole cucumber, an entire loaf of bread, and potatoes in the trash can outside. The lettuce was expired, but it looked fine. The bread was also expired, but had no mold. The potatoes had eyes, but weren't green or rotten yet. I went inside and started dinner. I grilled chicken, which was the only item not from the trash. I made a salad and added the cucumber, used the bread to make croutons, and finally, I made mashed potatoes. We all sat down to eat. My wife mentioned how great the food was. I told her it was what she had thrown out earlier that day. She was completely mortified and grossed out. I told her that I washed everything off before cooking it, but she said that didn't matter. My point was, if the food was good enough for us to eat, it should not have been thrown out. At bare minimum, she could have given it to her daughter to take it to the chickens. She argued back that I should have taken it from the trash to the chickens, not to our table. She was irritated with me, fearing we all would have gotten food poisoning or something, but none of us got sick from the food. She said regardless, it was wrong for me to prove a point in that manner and borderline abusive to serve the family food from the trash. I don't really see what I did wrong. There are starving people in this world, and for us to throw out perfectly fine food just doesn't sit right with me. Am I the asshole?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, you go first.
So, okay, wait, I have a few thoughts. I can see that the wife would be grossed out because I would also be grossed out, like, knowing that stuff that's going, like, into my stomach was in the trash. Even if it was sealed, I have an issue with that, too. Like,
yeah,
I don't know, I get grossed out by that. Sometimes if I'm, like, grossed out enough by something, I just tell myself, like, whatever's in my stomach now, like, my stomach acid will kill it and I'll be okay. Like, coping mechanisms. But you have to think, like, OP survived their whole life eating food from the trash. Like, you're probably not going to get food poisoning. Like, you'll probably be okay. So I don't think OP put anyone in danger. That's, like, my first point. I think that that was okay, especially, like, the food was expired, but I don't think expiration dates need to be taken as unedible. They're just, like, a suggested time to keep the food, at least, like, for stores, from my understanding. So, I don't think that they were putting anyone in danger. I think feeding it to their family is questionable, but they cooked it and cleaned it.
Yeah.
So, I get that. I think, I don't know, that's kind of, like, the wife was kind of being a jerk by tossing all that stuff, especially knowing who she's married to.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I would ever toss, like, a full loaf of bread if it wasn't moldy, even if it was expired. Like, that seems very excessive to me. And I don't have these, like, food waste issues, like, internal issues that OP has. Like, and to me, it still seems excessive. Like, and you do have chickens. You can go give that to them. Like, my family composts, so we try and, like, minimize our waste by composting. There's just other options, especially if you have, like, a large quantity of food that has expired and you absolutely have to get rid of it. There's, like, other options than putting it into a garbage can. It is wasteful.
Agreed. It's definitely wasteful.
Yeah. It just sucks that OP has probably expressed this before and the wife doesn't, in that moment, didn't respect it. And it's a big deal and, like, part of OP's, like, upbringing and, like, they're very affected by it. So it sucks that, like, she's not considering that. So I don't think OP's the asshole.
I agree that he didn't put anyone in danger, but it's also, like, I don't know. I think the wife could definitely be more understanding, and it would only help her family to not throw out food that she paid money for or that they paid money for.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like it's weird to teach your family a lesson like that.
Yeah.
Does it make you an asshole? Maybe not, but I think there's a way better way you could have gone about it. But like you said, he did try to communicate it with her in the past, and at least this time she didn't respect what he asked of her. But also he's like, my wife doesn't like going food shopping more than once a week. Well, why don't you go food shopping
I was
then?
going to say that too. That was like my immediate thought when he said that.
Yeah.
So
why couldn't he say to his wife, oh, just buy a little bit less, and just so we don't have to waste, I'll just go and get what we need halfway through the week or next week or whatever. But he's like, well, she doesn't want to, so then she just buys too much and throws it out. Well, what's the solution going to be to that?
Right.
Seems pretty obvious, but okay. But then again, you never know. Like, maybe that was their compromise when they got married. Maybe she's a stay-at-home parent and he is a working parent, and she's like, you work and I'll do the chores. Who knows? Maybe in that case, it's justified. But if they both are working parents and she's just going to the grocery store by herself in addition to doing all the things that he does, like providing for the family, I feel like he needs to maybe step it up and create a solution that's not just blaming her for what she's doing wrong.
Well, maybe he cooks because he cooked this meal.
True.
So maybe she shops and he cooks. Maybe they need to split it up in a different way.
True. Maybe. One time when I was in college, I was doing a group project, and I might have told the story in the podcast before, so sorry if this is boring, but we were inside in this building all day working on this group project, and we were all starving, and there was no food in the building that we were in. We were walking down the hallway and there was a trash can, and on top of the trash can was like, it was basically filled with pizza boxes, and the top box had one slice of pizza left in it. And this one guy in my group, he was so normal. Like, I really liked him, completely normal person. He's like, ooh, I am so hungry. And we were like, okay. And he's like, you guys, would you judge me or think that I'm bad if I eat that slice of pizza? And we were like, no, you can go for it. And I'm not going to lie, part of me, not that I judged him because I think he's a brilliant person, but part of me was like, I would not do that.
Yeah.
Like, I am hungry too. But it's not like we're starving. We're just doing a group project. Like, it's not like we're dying starving.
Right.
And you never know. Like, that piece of pizza could have been on the ground. A dog could have licked it. A person could have licked it and been like, I just wanted the toppings off the top or whatever.
That's true.
And I was like, that is bold. When you don't have to. And I almost feel like that with this family. It's like they didn't have to eat the stuff out of the trash.
Yeah.
So even though they didn't get sick, nothing bad came from it. It's just a little risky, I guess. I just don't love it.
Yeah.
I just don't love the idea of like teaching your partner a lesson and like going behind their back and doing this tricky thing. I just wish that they could have come to an agreement without it having to come to a trick.
Yeah.
And like, I told you so kind of thing. But maybe sometimes that's the only way when you try to talk to someone. Maybe that's the only solution. So yeah, I don't think anyone's an asshole, but I recommend open and honest communication.
There we go.
There we go.
There it is.
There it is. Had to say it 15 times in each episode.